Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for August 12th through 19th, 2024. Well, we're coming up on some of the most intense and powerful astrology of this year, perhaps of our lifetime, as Mars is coming up to Jupiter, and together they are squaring Saturn in Pisces. So Mars is in Gemini right now at 14 degrees, Jupiter at 16 degrees. These planets coming together, two of the most powerful energies, add Saturn to the mix in a square, and wow, it's game changer energies. Jupiter and Saturn come together into square about every 10 years. They come into conjunction every 20 years. And so as they make their way through the transits, we just had them in conjunction in 2020, and now this is the first square since that conjunction. And it's one thing to have Jupiter square Saturn, but Mars thrown into the mix really makes it intense. Mars is our warrior, our action planet. Let's go, the motor, let's do it. Jupiter is our expansion, our amplification, the ruler of Sagittarius, the bigger, wider picture. So we're putting a motor on the bigger, wider picture. And in Gemini, it's speaking about expression, about what needs and wants to be expressed, what has been suppressed. Okay. So Mars transits, you may have noticed if you've, as we, studying astrology, that when we have Mars transits, Mars squares in particular, there's can be a lot of aggression and frustration, impatience. People just like, let me go. It's like you need to be a little extra careful in traffic during Mars transits. And so Mars square Saturn, they call these planets, traditional astrology, the malefic planets. And they cause trouble, But that's actually a complete misunderstanding of what astrology is. These planetary energies exist within us as well as without us. And so we need to communicate and talk with these energies to learn and grow and take the messages and allow those messages to help us and support us in our process. But Mars is this warrior action, let's do it, in square to Saturn. Saturn is time, laws, rules. It represents the lower matrix, but it's actually the original timeline. And then how that timeline was absconded or taken over, the lower matrix, Saturn, the black cube. We know that our spiritual evolution has been held back artificially through opposing forces. And that's what this Saturn energy is about. So we've gotten the message that we're a jumpstart, restart back to the original organic timeline, our Christ consciousness, mother timeline, the mother's timeline, Mother Earth, Goddess, Gaia, her original vision, where it's like we're careening back onto this timeline. And the energy of this is coming forward in very interesting ways. On the one hand, time is very strange. On the other hand, it's like we are beginning to access abilities that we didn't even know we had, to be able to go forwards and backwards. And there's something about, say you've been kept in a loop while all this other timeline was trying to move forward, but you were in a loop. As you come back into, it's like merging onto the freeway. It's almost what I'm seeing is that we've got to go back and forth through our timeline with missing pieces, putting them back into place in order to tumble back into the Christ consciousness original timeline. So this fits everything with this mutable square, because the mutable signs are adjustable, or it's about making adjustments that need to be made, to go with the flow, to be like, oh, no, you got to do it this way now. So Mars and Jupiter in Gemini, about expression, bringing forward what's been suppressed, all this. So when you put this energy of this intensity of expansion, expanded expression, desire, Mars is desire, So the desire for expanded expression in Gemini and busting through, it's like this jack in the box, this overflowing, the dam that we've been talking about. Because in a square to Saturn, retrograde in Pisces, it's the old laws, the old ways, the old patterns, the Piscean drama, the trauma drama. And so, what I'm finding individually and collectively, what we're doing is we know we're unwinding these patterns, and we've gotten the message that they must appear, because how are you going to find it and get rid of it if you can't see it? So these patterns are appearing in order for us to rearrange our whole reality. So, what that is bringing forward in daily life, it feels like this continual questioning of and rearranging and reorienting. Can we slow down and recognize the pattern mid pattern and say, yep, I see it. And then rewind, take a step back, take a step back. What triggered that pattern? Energy, emotion, feeling, the loop. Okay. We've been stuck in a loop. We've been emotionally, physically, in our individual development, stuck in a loop, and in our collective evolution, we've been stuck in a loop. Okay. So we're breaking out of the loop, is what this astrology is saying, out of that lower matrix. That restart, it's like we've got this big impulse of the massive total solar eclipse and all the astrology of this spring, or this last few months, the beginning of 2024. And so now we're having to redo, rehash, rewire, rework, unwind, because it's like we're still entangled like a spider web in these old patterns and old beliefs, and we're not quite ready to catapult. So that's what this Mercury retrograde is about. Mercury retrograde turned retrograde on the 5th and will turn direct on the 29th. It's so intense to have all this astrology going on, right? Because Mars wants to go, and Mars is being amplified because Jupiter just makes bigger whatever it comes across, you know? So Mars's desire to express what's inside of him, amplified, you know, in this massive, powerful voice, the voice of the people, the voice of the feminine. Because guess what? This is this epic square. Yes, Mars, Jupiter square Saturn, Jupiter square Saturn, epic 10-year energy, 20-year cycle, an imprint in the pattern. So Mars is the warrior, traditionally, Saturn the timekeeper. And so Mars is going to war with Saturn around the lies of the Piscean age that has kept us, that have kept our voice suppressed. But then we also have Venus in the mix. So Venus is coming into a square with Mars, opposition with Saturn, square with Jupiter as well. And get this, Venus's interaction with this T square. So we have that, or the square between Jupiter, Mars and Jupiter and Saturn. And then Venus comes in opposite of Saturn in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, Venus and Virgo, making a T square. So now we have a mutable T square, and Venus is opposite Saturn, square Mars and Jupiter. So the top of the T square is this Mars and Jupiter in Gemini. So it's telling us that the expression that's been suppressed, you know, the lies, the delusions, the everything that's kept us in this state of what we're feeling like the pot boiling over, of this suppressed expression. You know, the masks must come off, the truth must come forward. So all of that energy going on, square Saturn and Pisces, the old way, isn't going to take us into the future. And then the other part of that T square, Venus and Virgo, cleaning up. Now get this, these planets all meet up at 17 degrees. So a 17 degrees mutable T square, Venus square Mars, Jupiter square Saturn, Mars square Saturn, Mars, Venus opposite Saturn. It's so intense. Oh my goodness. Now we're having one of those times when all of the planets are involved in the drama. Okay. And when all the planets are involved, it's like all hands on deck. All bets are off. We're all got to work together. So there's a cooperation energy here, which is interesting because typically, if you'd have these malefic planets and T squares and all this tension, you'd have this like impossible, impossible, impossible energy. But there's a loosening of the restrictions of time and reality in this transition that we're making. So part of this is helping us adjust to our new ability and permission to co-create. And so we that's really important because I'm seeing this, what they talk about, a shift from 3D to 5D, and there's 4D. And the 4D is a place that you just visit. 4D is the mirror. It's where the everything you feel inside that hasn't been expressed in your subconscious is shown to you. We've been stuck in 4D. And so we're in this place right now of a dance going, oh, 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 here's that pattern. Wait, I see it. I see it. Unwind it, go back, uncover it, go deeper. What's the origin? Pull it out by the roots, out of here, because if we're going to move into this co-creation status that we're talking about, our higher intuitive abilities coming online, we don't want to be creating out of fear of our subconscious. Do you see why you're going through this initiation? This is a massive time of initiation to release all fear, all trauma programming, all any little tiny bit of control that the outside reality has over you. You taking the power to create and own and hold your own vibrational frequency. We are water. Our body is water, and we know from the work of Dr. Emoto that water has memory, water has consciousness, water receives the message we tell it, but also wants to speak to us. So we are water, we have a frequency. And the way that we've been entrapped for so long is that we're stuck in this trauma drama frequency, continuing to create that energy. This is why we must take hold with our will. This is the Mars activation. Take hold with our will those moments, that time, that place where you recognize a pattern, and stop and say, I'm rewriting this. And go ahead and go backwards. Feel the feels. How did I get this? This is messed up. I don't know. I want to talk to you about it, Mom. Talk to the mother about it. Explain. Feel your feelings. Tell her how hard it's been. And then let her help you entertain a new pattern. And this is how we're rewriting our whole reality. So it's intense. It's so powerful and so intense. And so Venus and Virgo in this T square of this game changing, we can't go this way anymore. We have to completely change all the structures of our reality and our relationship to time and physical form, reset our divine timeline, make all these adjustments. And the adjustment, the voice that needs to be heard with Venus and Virgo is the purified feminine, the healer, the compassionate healer, the part of us that can face the music and clean it up. Say, oh, there's not, we can find in this world, not supernova souls, but in general, people want to get through the easiest way. That doesn't pay off in the long run in anything, and we're not here for this. We're here for what comes after. I mean, we are here for this, but we know we're building some spiritual, we'll call it accreditation or credit, maybe, And so this place where we can value again the love and compassion and healing. That's what we need to do first. How can we bring it back into our world? And so this is this Venus and Virgo at 17 degrees. 7 and 1 make 8. in numerology. And so this is a transformation. And we've got 17, Mars 17, Jupiter 17, Saturn 17, Venus 17. You can't make this shit up. That's 4 8s. And it's saying, oh, time to turn the wheel of time. We're not going to stay here in the hamster wheel anymore. This time we have a little more momentum. This time the feminine breaks free from the chains. That's what this is saying. Through purification, through healing, through compassion, through love, through service. This is how we turn the wheel of time. We come back to the valuing of the invisible. How many times in your life, Supernova Soul, have you felt that you've gotten this message? This is programming, and the people around you just fulfilling this programming over lifetimes. And it's like, well, that's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. That's not valuable. Everything about you is so precious. These gifts that you have built and over lifetimes, the service work and healing that you've done, and then to be told again and again and again in this world that it has no value, it has no meaning, and it has no purpose. Go ahead and pile up your physical material items. So it's a reckoning time where we all of us collectively have to come back to this honoring of the feminine, to this healing, and to this compassion for ourselves and others. So the voice, the suppression that Mars is ready to go and express who we are, it's the feminine side of ourselves that's been suppressed through the persecution of the Piscean age. And now we're awakening this song again in the world, where we begin to value the precious, invisible. That's you. You're gold. And it's time to step forward into this. These squares are bringing forward. Now, it's so powerful because Mars wants to go, Jupiter wants to expand. It's like party. When Mars and Jupiter are together, it's like party. Square Saturn, not so much. It's like, oh, we got to clean up from the last couple thousand years of that bad party. Like, ooh, you know. And so that this, and then Venus in there, so it's a very interesting energy because Mars and Jupiter is like, go, expand, make it happen. In square, stopped, blocked by Saturn, by time, by the rules and laws. And Venus says, well, maybe we should reevaluate those rules and laws because the mother's world, everything works. Why? She handles it. She, the love, the creation energy, the self-correcting force, the energy of connection and communion with her, which is the water. When we're talking about the water of our body, the water of the earth, the primary waters, it is the mother. We're talking to the waters, we're talking to the mother. When we're emitting the frequency that is the ideal, it's in alignment with her. Her love, the garden, like the way it's supposed to be. We know this. And it's the same old war, right? Everything's been against her. One feminine energy against the rest of the world. And now she breaks free and she takes back our reality. And so we're getting out of the way and letting it happen. But that Venus T-square in this epic generational time game changer moment, it's like the voice of the feminine has been suppressed. The teachings of the feminine have been suppressed. Feminine power and empowerment have been suppressed. The intuitive has been suppressed. The healer has been suppressed. The shaman has been suppressed. And it's just like, oh, like just these sprouts of, the tree roots breaking through the sidewalk, breaking through the asphalt, just like, no, she wins in the end every time. Her force is so powerful. The way we got here under control through these forces of control is through trauma, drama, fear, and scarcity. And the scarcity comes from, right, maybe traumatizing the feminine so you can shut off that fountain, shut off that geyser, so that then there's not so much resources. Then we can argue over them. and have wars and be controlled and be in fear. And so we're ready to turn the geyser back on of the divine feminine, mystery, miracle, magic, mother dragon, awakening, the spine of the earth, the chakra system of our loving mother coming online as we come online with her, because it's her ascension. We're here for her. When are we going to figure this out and come back to her every moment, every day? This is all you have to do. Breathe with her. She sees your path way better. She sees you and she sees your path way better than you do. Find comfort in the moment. And if you don't know the way, put down your load for a little while and eventually she will guide you. Part of the deal with this whole mess of transits, it's like too hard to even talk about. You know, we could be here all day, but Mars square Venus. Okay, so Mars are masculine, square Venus. Mars and Jupiter, let's party, let's go. Square Venus, she says, we're cleaning up the party. This party's the cleanup party. We're not going to be doing that dark, nasty shit anymore in her world. How dare you? It will not be done. The mother claims her rightful dominion over this realm. All must come into alignment with her original dream. We take it all back. Just know this in your heart and your soul. All must come into alignment. Your body, your temple, she's you, you're her. All must come into alignment. And that's the waters, right? We're talking to the waters. When we listen to our body, we're talking to the mother. She's our best intuitive hit. That's how we get to our higher self. We feel it. It doesn't lie. But when we're suppressed in our emotions, which this Gemini energy square, it's like all the pain of the past, like, it's okay, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going, until we're like, whoa, how did we get over here in this crazy effed up world, so far away from our true values and ideals as humans? We compensated, gave it away, agreed, gradually whittled away our world to the evil forces, which are just the opposing forces, right? But we're moving to a new place now. The vital force that's coming back, the Mother Earth goddess Gaia awakening, is this healing force, this creation force. And it's bringing all back into oneness. We still get to be in physical form, but live in oneness consciousness. This is the golden age, the Aquarian age. So Venus square Mars in this astrology is this divide within us. And how many of us have you? I mean, this has been huge on the table. And I feel like this Mars square Saturn, Mars square Venus, and Mars square Saturn, is really, really challenging us in these ways to completely rework this whole story. And so when we come back to this oneness, to the mother, to this creation energy, part of the message we're getting from her and from the waters is that she's feels neglected. That here, you'll use me. You'll work with me. You'll swim in me. You'll drink me all day. You survive. You're made of me. And yet you won't talk to me. And so this is the message we've been getting from her around the mutual reciprocity. We grow the abundant creation life force of goddess energy by worshiping the goddess. Not in the way that we think like that, but in this devotional honor, this heart-centered love towards our mother. And we receive her love back. And she's telling us that this is like a cultivated garden. The more you cultivate this love, this communication, the more it grows. And so this is what we're going to be doing as we move into this work of talking to the waters, cleaning the waters, the primary waters. We're going to be talking about this at the SuperNova Camas Hot Springs event with Russ Anderson. I hope you saw that SuperNova Spotlight. This is the energy and the power of the world that we live in right now, taking back our awareness of the power of our consciousness. And the water leads the way. this beautiful, intimate connection with the primary waters, with the mother, with this delicate and beautiful energy. And as we begin to talk and listen more and more to the waters and cultivate the garden, this energy grows. And she does have the strength with us as her army to claim her rightful dominion and authority over this realm. It's hers. She's just been asleep and tricked and duped and drugged and raped, tortured, killed, you name it. We all have, because she's us. This is where we've had this intense feelings of shame and regret come up as we come back into the love of the mother. You know, it's like how far we've been away. So this is all part of it. Maybe that's a really important part of the unwinding of these patterns, stopping midway, going back through the pattern, reprogramming, inserting new information, right? We're like putting these puzzle pieces back together. Good thing we're time travelers. And like she's asking us to do, step into the dream and feel her power and energy grow in your life. The more you give her your love and attention and communication, the more she's available for you and for in your life, in your world, to be that self-correcting force to make it all harmonized, to make it all work. This is what just happened. The forces that seek to create more trauma and drama and Armageddon and wars and all this, they're just, all of their best laid plans have been foiled by the mother taking back her world. Every day, you, supernova souls, breathing in this truth, being forced through the circumstances of your life to be so incredibly present. And that's this middle way. So the Mars-Venus energy square is bringing up this divergent place within ourselves. We've been arguing with ourselves. And supernova souls, a lot of this argument is against yourself. You didn't do it right. You could have done it better. You should have known that, this and that and the other thing. But are we really arguing against our truth and our vision and the way we should be living? Because remember that we kind of gradually compensated away, found ourselves way over here in a nightmare. What happened to the dream? So the dream and the nightmare have been arguing in battle in our consciousness, in our psyche, and now we end the battle. We come back to compassion, forgiveness, and love, and the power of Mars's anger and repression is now this beautiful song of compassion and love. Like, yeah, now we get on with it, right? So we're not going through back into these patterns to get stuck in the patterns. We're going to feel the feels and we're going to get the F out. This is the power of the time we live in. We've been in this loop, and this Mercury, I think Pluto going back into Capricorn, it's like the one more time, right? One more time, one more loop, so that we can get out of the loop for good, right? And get some centripetal force and boop, and pop out to the next level, to that divine timeline, to the mother's timeline. And so we have to completely rework these stories. And so that's what's going on for us. So we can come to that place of the garden within the consciousness to just melt back into her arms and into her love and trust that she's coming back online. We're coming back online and she's got it handled. We just have to listen to her and show up. What does she say? Go to these places, these sacred vortexes, and dance and sing. So talk to her, talk to the waters, listen to the waters, heal and love and sing with the waters. Experiment with the resonant frequency of our body and mother and the waters of the earth. So it's so profound, this tipping point that we're at with this astrology. It's just like you can't keep going the way you're going. And so we're just kind of in this the mutable, it's interesting because mutable T-square, it's so intense, but it's also mutable, so it's shifting. But coming up for on the 19th, the same day that Venus has those transits, opposite Saturn, square Jupiter and Mars, or Venus will square up with Mars a little later after that, a few days later. But this on the 19th is also the Aquarius full moon. So on the 19th is a very powerful day. It's the breaking point. And when the feminine, our divine mother, our goddess completely breaks free of these chains. Oh, the astrology on this full moon is so powerful. On the 19th, Venus is in the exact T square. Jupiter exactly square Saturn. Mercury retrograde. This is another thing. Got all this motion and trying to move and change and do it differently. But Mercury's retrograde. Retrograde in Virgo, but about to move into Leo on the 16th. So get this, then Mercury will come back into a conjunction with the sun. The sun coming to the end degrees of Leo for the Aquarius full moon happens at 27 degrees. So the sun at 27 degrees Leo, the moon at 27 degrees Aquarius on the 19th. So the sun is moving along, Mercury retrograding back into Leo from Virgo now into Leo on the 16th, catching up with the sun at exactly 27 degrees on the 19th. And so we have two exact T-squares, a mutable T-square and a fixed T-square. So Mercury and the sun together. Mercury and the sun is brilliant mind, and they're passing fast because Mercury's retrograde. But when Mercury and the sun come together, there's often very important messages like pay attention, just downloads, brilliant thoughts, understandings about how to unwind from the past. So the sun and Mercury coming together, Mercury retrograding, and on that day, on the 19th, is the full moon. So that means the sun and Mercury are in Leo at 27 degrees and opposite the full moon at 27 degrees Aquarius. But get this, Uranus and Taurus is also at 27 degrees. So we have an exact fixed T-square in opposition with the Mercury and the sun and the moon in square to Uranus and Taurus. So let's look at these squares at the T. If we're going to look at, we got two T-squares, immutable T-square, adjustments that need to be made, fixed T-square, completions and organizations and standards and that kind of energy, following through. So at the T of both of these, immutable T-square is Jupiter and Mars. The fixed T-square is Uranus. So they're holding this energy. So the expression of what's been suppressed is about our permission for our own intuitive wisdom. Because Taurus is our self-worth, self-love, resources. Uranus, higher frequency vibration. Do you deserve your higher frequency vibrations? Do you deserve your bliss? Do you deserve your happiness? Do you deserve your own pineal gland? Do you deserve, is your energy your own energy to have? Or is there an appropriate outside claim on your energy? That's what we worked with so much with that last lunation, the Leo new moon. So it'll be powerful to see what comes up for this Aquarius full moon activation that will be on Monday, August 19th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. So, wow. And this week leading up to the full moon is kind of a culmination energy. But we'll still be feeling Jupiter is exactly square Saturn from the 17th to the 23rd. So it's just so intense for the next 2 weeks. And then Venus comes into the exact square with Mars from the 21st to the 25th. So that's very powerful timing. Jupiter exactly square Saturn, the epic generational game-changing thing. Now the truth is told, you can no longer keep us in the lies of the Piscean age. And so that is everything is just coming back to these themes. But it's powerful that Jupiter square Saturn and Venus square Mars are exactly at the same time, the exact of those different transits. So that's that following week. The next, so we've got this week, the new leading up to, the squares are all happening, T squares happening, and the full moon on Monday, August 19th. And then the following week is when we have Venus in the transit, staking her claim, taking off her chains, saying, we're pure, she's right, she's good, she's true, we're going to do it her way now. It's the only way out, is back in through the garden gate. So that's just so powerful. And the Aquarius full moons are a culmination energy, and Aquarius is this higher frequency vibration, Aquarian age, future technology. We're looking at Atlantean time. 27 degrees, 2 and 7 is a 9. In T square, the full moon is in T square to Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, at 27 degrees, 999. Game over. No more control over our higher intuitive gifts. There's no rightful claim on our energy, and there is no higher authority than the human soul and the body. There's no authority that says whether you get to be who you are, besides your own innate wisdom. So we must come back to that innate wisdom, which is the mother, just like we were saying. So the intensity of all this really culminates with, and the energy of the clarification of what all this is about, is the fact that Black Moon Lilith is now coming up to a conjunction with the south node of the moon in Libra. Black Moon Lilith is at 4 degrees. The south node of the moon is at 7 degrees, moving to 6 degrees for the eclipses. So Black Moon Lilith and the south node in Libra, that means Black Moon Lilith is opposite the north node in Aries. So deep, dark secrets around relationships, around loyalties, that are keeping us from having our own autonomy and moving forward in our spiritual autonomy. So this is when we break all of the ties to all the lower energies, all the relationships to anybody outside of ourselves, really. We have we know we need this full autonomy in order to come into the Aquarian age. We cannot continue to have cords, plugs, loyalties to lower energies, and move over into the golden age of abundance. We'll just leak it out everywhere. So we're learning to contain and own our energy. And look out for that. The installment, I want to get in on this Mars-Jupiter energy. Look out for the installment of Owning Your Energetic Field, a course. And we are working on the throat chakra, finding your voice. So Owning Your Energetic Field, finding your voice. A class series, continuing class series, but each class stands on its own, and we'll be delving deep into the mysteries of the throat chakra with that Owning Your Energetic Field course. So look out for that. Perfect timing with Mars, Jupiter together in Gemini. So, wow, powerful times. And Black Moon Lilith, the South Node, deep, dark secrets that are keeping us in loyalties which are not serving the greater good, the higher ideal. Our loyalties have been serving the lower energies. And it's so hard to live in a world where people don't realize that their energy is being fed upon and serving the lower entities and energies, while we are constantly clearing and healing and purifying. And this is the Virgo thing. This is Venus and Virgo. She's exhausted. She's like, enough, you guys. I've cleaned up your messes enough times. You clean your house. Come find me in the garden when you're done. And so that, um, so now get this though, because after Venus goes into that square with Mars, they don't come, they're an exact square, but they stay really close for from the 21st to the 25th of August. And on the 29th of August, then Venus will go on to oppose Neptune in Virgo. Venus and Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune at that point will be at 29 degrees, still at 29 degrees. Neptune turns retrograde has turned retrograde July 2nd. So we'll not go to 28 degrees until September. So still at 29 degrees, Venus coming to 29 degrees Virgo. Oh my goodness. And what's happening is we've been making a kite shape. So what's happening, we know that we've had Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto's at 0 degrees Aquarius, is in sextile to Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees. Pluto's going back into Capricorn, so they'll be closer. They'll be within 1 degree of each other for the month of September. Now, what's happening is that because Uranus has made it to 27 degrees, now Uranus is coming into sextile with Neptune. So we've got Pluto sextile Neptune, Neptune sextile Uranus, our big game player planets, backdrop planets, all lining up. Now, so that's the top of a kite if you have an opposition. And it puts Pluto in trine to Uranus. Very, very powerful. That's what we're starting to feel right now. And that's like, trines are like, just do it this way, let's go, it's harmonized. It's just follow the vector. Like, just let the energies take you to the right place. And so this is Pluto going back into Capricorn, rearranging the structures of our reality in trine to Uranus, our permission for our true intuitive empowerment and wealth, true wealth and empowerment. So really sweet energies. And guess what? With Venus coming to the end of Virgo on the 29th of August, we'll be making an opposition with Neptune, and that will make the kite. So Venus will be taking the first to make this kite shape as these planets come back into formation. We've had this kite before. Now we've got this beautiful energy because Venus is the base of the kite, saying, yes, it's the goddess. It's our worship and love and honoring of the divine feminine that allows us to lift up and have our ascension. And the ascension is Pluto breaking all the old structures so that we can build new ones in Aquarius, and Neptune completely rewriting the delusions and stories and mysteries, taking back the magic of the Piscean age. We've been talking about this. Venus opposite Neptune, taking back the magic of the Piscean age. And then Uranus and Taurus, our permission for our wealth and worth. And here we go. We take flight. Venus says, all right, I'm back. She's back into the maestra position. She's bringing together the cosmic alignment. She's saying, okay, it's time to play the song again. So that Venus kite is really beautiful, and it will last the very end of August and into the first couple of days of September, carrying us into a whole new chapter. Just like, okay, we're breaking the old patterns. We're rearranging time. We're turning the wheel. We're coming to the tipping point. We're expressing what has been suppressed, singing the song, honoring the feminine again, and lifting up into a whole new reality. So very powerful energies and incredibly powerful times. It's so epic. Just don't miss a moment. This is one of those times with the mutable T-square and the fixed T-square and the full moon. All of our planets are on deck, and the sextiles that we were talking about, and all of the planets are playing a role, except maybe not Chiron. Chiron is at 23 degrees Aries. But that's not too far out of trine with where the sun will be for the full moon. And sextile, that would put Chiron sextile to the moon and trine the sun. So leading up to this full moon, the sun will be in trine to Chiron. And that brings Chiron on board. Every single planet and element is speaking, is talking, is integrated. It's like these intense squares are going to be prying up that kite. Just pressure, the pressure cooker. But the pressure cooker is refining and cleaning and clearing and healing and bringing us from this argument against ourselves, living a life that's not our truth, speaking words that aren't in our heart, living a lie, getting along to get along. It's like all that is just like gradually this play of life, of beating ourselves up and going against ourselves again and again. We're just coming back, and Mother's nudging us to the only true way, right back to the path, to come to center. That's what this is about. Get on board. We're going through the eye of the needle. Here's the turning of the tides, the flipping of the tables. Are you going to step into the dream? Are you brave enough to make that leap and to say yes to seeing what's on the other side of this tipping point? So thank you so much for being here, and look out for more information coming around the SuperNova Camas Hot Springs event. Also, live painting workshop the last weekend of October in Santa Fe with Lauren Mantecon. Creative visualization and intuitive painting workshop. Very powerful work we're doing here together, awakening the creative fire. And also SuperNova Camas Hot Springs over the Equinox in Hot Springs, Montana. It's time for SuperNova souls to get together and get on this train of light and lead the way into this new world. It's up to us, and so we stand ready and waiting. Mars, Jupiter, saying, warriors on deck, spiritual warriors, get your light on, put on your armor of light. It's time for our advance. We've been in defensive posture for a long time. Now we push forward. The gate has been pushed down, and it's our prerogative. You know, they're not going to say, oh, here, come on, you should go ahead and live your truth, express your full potential. No, those structures are never going to do that for us. We have to be like, we're coming forward. We're using our will. This is the Mars message. We have to engage our will. We have to say, this is the way it is. Yes, I'm moving and loving with the mother, but this is the way her world is. She's with me. I'm okay. I'm taken care of. She's self-correcting. We're moving forward now in the dream. We're coming together. We're writing a new script and a new narrative, and that's definitely the energy here. Flip the script. Understand the patterns have to replay, but that's just so you can get out of the loop and write that new story. And as we begin co-creating this dream together, we've been working on for so long. The seeds have been planted, she says. There's no need to create it. There's no need to build it. It's already there. We just have to get out of the way and breathe it into existence, she says. So during this Mercury retrograde of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, total confusion, complete rearranging of our whole reality, our psyche, our chakra system, our body, our spine, everything is rearranging. It's a good time to clean your house and rearrange, because that's what's happening on a cellular level and in our psyche, and it's so intense. And you know, this message from her that the structures that have gotten us here are not going to be taking us forward. We're coming to terms with this message. It's hard because like, but I built all this. And it's like, yeah, but it just isn't who you are now, because you're not that. And then you're like, well, who the F am I, and what am I doing here? The way forward might look very different, like way outside of the wheelhouse of what you even thought. Like it's like there's resistance. There's a lot of resistance coming up, because the way forward over this tipping point, through the dam, breaking through into this, it's like we're hesitating, you know, because the subconscious fear programming is triggered, but we just don't know what we're doing and where we're going. And it's so hard to trust. So she says the way is made. You just can't see it yet. And stop and breathe. And that go slow, because it might look so different that it freaks you out, makes you want to run or avoid. or manipulate it into something different, you know? So it's natural to have some resistance. And so this is kind of her message, resistance and flow, right? Resistance and flow. It's just the energy of the universe. Just, okay, well, it's going this way. I didn't like it. I thought it should be different. Resistance, back in the flow, you know? And this is kind of like a pulsation, you know? And this energy, this awakening, this quickening of the mother, you know? This long, stagnant avenues of energetic movement, ley lines, acupuncture meridians of the earth are opening up. And we've got it. It's ours. The abundant flow that's coming back is ours. This is why we've gone through all we've gone through, so we know we deserve it and we know we can handle it. And we stand up and take it back now and move forward in joy and bliss and ecstasy the way it's supposed to be. Life in a physical body as an advanced soul should be an ecstatic existence. This is an amazing experience we get to have. Conscious souls aware of themselves as consciousness in a body. No higher authority. Nobody gets to tell you. So who's been telling you what you can and can't do? And this is hard because we've been so manipulated and controlled. And we come back to the mother and she says, surrender, stop resisting. It's going to be so good. Yeah, it doesn't look like what you thought, but it's going to be so good. You know, get out of the way. But it's like, yeah, but mom, I was so manipulated. And last time I trusted, I just lost everything. She says, okay, you can't actually lose. This is such a powerful message for those of us. A lot of this Black Moon Lilith conjunct South Node, opposite North Node, saying we are moving forward in relationships. The secrets revealed are helping us move forward in relationships, our soulmate relationships. And we've got to, that's maybe what we're doing, you know, it's like we got to get those patterns worked out because we haven't had healthy relationships. And we're opening up to the power of love, which takes some surrender because the love that we have experienced was mostly control based and toxic, transactional love. But we're moving into the abundance economy, she says, where more is more. And a really powerful message as we embark on these sensitive territories of opening our heart back up and learning to trust and surrender. She says, it might feel like you're losing everything. It's just reminding you of how it felt in the past when we were apart, but now we're together. And she says, no one can take from you the love I have for you. It's yours. It's yours. It feels like it. You know how hurt we've been and betrayed again and again in these interpersonal relationships and healing these deep, deep wounds. But it's not that the heart's breaking. It's breaking open. It was just a powerful, compassionate love that nobody can take from you because guess what? You're hooked up to your own source again. And she's with you and she's got you. And that's what is going to allow ourselves to trust and surrender into the way, the divine way, her way, the highway, the middle way. And so this is where she's asking us to come out of the argument and just make our way back to center, make our way back to peace. So much opportunity for radical forgiveness of yourself and others that these forces had to play out to get you to this point. We can't take the resentment with us. It's just too toxic. You know, yes, you were mistreated again and again. It's been a horrible nightmare. You don't deserve that. You never did. You're amazing, beautiful light. And it's time to just turn it back on and forgive whatever needed to happen to get here. Ooh, it's big work, but we're lifting off. So it'll be powerful because on the day that that kite happens, Venus kite, that's when Mercury turns direct. So there we go. Are you ready? Step into the dream. Seems like there might not be anything out there, but she's got us. Mother's got us. So just keep breathing, keep loving. I love you so much, Supernova Souls. Thank you so much for your support in the membership groups. I appreciate having you with me as we grow this next new chapter together. So thank you so much. There's also a link to donate if you'd like to make an offering that way. I really appreciate you just being here, being present with these concepts and ideas. I can't tell you anything you don't already know. And so may that resonance be in your heart and begin to emanate in your frequency resonance, in your waters, your message to the world. Perhaps this is the first way we bring forward our message or our truth, this fullness of our expression that wants to come forward. First was the word, first frequency. And so we're getting right on that level. And maybe that's all these squares, because the square T square with Uranus, full moon. What is keeping you from coming into these higher intuitive gifts and faculties that you already worked with in past lives? And no authority says whether you can have them. And you were lied to that they're harmful and going to hurt people. So that's the rearranging, is us coming into our higher intuitive power. And wow, are the energies increasing so much? Do you feel it? Just keep breathing and know that the mother, that's the name of the game right now. We're having just the activation, assimilation, activation, assimilation. We talked about going with the flow, resistance, going with the flow, resistance, and just being patient with ourselves. And if you don't know where you're going, just stop and put down your load and breathe with her. And the solution and the way will come. So much dynamic stuff happening though. I would say that over these next weeks, hints and clues and months, actual action, the puzzle pieces coming together in your new life coming to meet you. It's been so hard and we're just like, what do I need to do? How do I need to figure it out? What do I need to heal? And it's like, what if it's just going to come and meet you. You don't have to go find it. It's going to come find you. You just be there. This is a lot of what I've gotten. A lot of the work you've done to get here, it's done. It's like you did it. You're here. You made it. We're right here. You have done enough for your people to find you. And that's all you needed to do. What you built to get you here, like we said, it can't take you forward. And it might just be that whole thing you built is for a completely different purpose when you put it with a collaborative team, your soulmates coming together. We got to do it together. It's not a singular vision or dream. It's all of our dream. And I'm honored to be a facilitator, to speak to you about it, to show you the pictures, the beauty, the love that I see, to resonate in your heart and soul and our DNA, activating into this loving dream. And we just own it. Say we've gotten way too far away from the way life is meant to be for us and for the world. And we're healed, we're whole, we're putting ourselves back together. We're not scared of who we are anymore. Watch out, world. Supernova souls are coming online because we're here to lead the way. So again, it's like stuck, blocked, repeating patterns, the loop, but it's a massive, massive time of preparation and initiation. So use it wisely. Do not miss a moment. Stay so present with these energies. This is the game-changing time. And I'm so honored to be here with you for this next chapter that lies ahead. I look forward to seeing you soon. Look out for that Aquarius full moon activation, Monday, August 19th, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. That'll be just a couple of hours before the exact full moon. So it'll be really great to just really be in that full moon portal with you. Ooh, as we activate into these higher frequencies. The thing about squares, T-squares, we have to remember that that's the tension that pushes change. And it feels blocked, and then it pushes change. So we'll see what this waterfall of disclosure, information, changes, realizations, downloads, Sun Mercury this week for that full moon as well. Just pay attention and surrender and keep loving, keep breathing, keep forgiving, keep forgiving yourself and loving yourself. I love you so much, Supernova Souls. Thank you for being here and going through all you've gone through to be here. It's so beautiful, beyond what you can imagine. She says it's not going to look what you thought it's going to look like, but it's going to be more beautiful than you can imagine. So let's begin to entertain, not the news feed and all the stories and the lies and the movies, but let's listen to her and entertain and feel into this flirtation back into her dream and feeling that awakening, the quickening within you of those creative fires and coming into this co-creation with the mother as we move into this whole new reality. We're at the tipping point, the point of no return. So it's a little bit trepidatious and, of course, unknown. But I know a lot of supernova souls feeling better and better in themselves, even though the world is, and their world, more and more uncertain. So just hold on to that. Hold on to that piece of the mother that you have, the love that she has for you that's yours, that nobody can take. And just let her hold you and love you through these times. Because it's all about to change very radically. And we're ready, aren't we? Or we're being prepared and initiated. So here we go. It's a wild ride. Hold tight, sit pretty. We'll see what's on the other side. Love you so much, Supernova Souls. Thanks for being here, being you, and for your support. I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update, that full moon activation. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.